Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host, as always, Gav, and joining you today is Stuart.
Oh, I got introduced first. That's brilliant.
You made it.
Yes. I do want to point out that I'm the only person that came on to talk to you about this.
Yeah, aye. Like I say,
I'll
Dave,
still take it.
Dave got back to me and said he's got a semi-final in the Bowls tomorrow, so he needs to practice tonight. So at least he's honest, and fair play. Best of luck to Dave in his semi-final tomorrow night. But yeah, I can understand why he would want to go practice Bowls rather than talk about Hibs getting beat by Livingston.
Yeah. Well, at least he actually gets to play on real grass. I think that's something that at least he's going to be able to look forward to. Yeah, so fair play, Dave. I don't blame you.
See if Papa Stu's on the next preview for Livingston. I think I'll limit him to 20 seconds to moaning about the grass, and then a buzzer will come in because like every time he does it, that's his analysis. And I was trying to bring in the team and talk about the midfield, which completely outran our midfield. Talk about new playing stuff, and Papa Stu's like, yeah, but the pitch though, the pitch. I'll be honest, I will get into a bit more. I don't think the pitch is why we lost on Saturday.
Well, I look forward to taking the place of my namesake. I love moaning about the pitch at Livy.
Right, you can do that. You'll get 30 seconds since
thanks.
All right. But so like I say, we're going to chat about the Livingston defeat. We're going to have a chat about the squad, where it's at. Lee Johnson talking about potential departures, so we'll have a chat about that. And then we'll finish up previewing the Rangers game on Saturday. Apologies, it's a bit late. I've had a busy week. We have done the adult thing of, rather than going on holiday this year, getting our windows and doors done. So,
you crazy man.
Yeah, so I have to say the noise wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but the disruption's been ridiculous. And the lack of communication is been really bad. We kind of got told it would be the end of July, then we got told it would be September when we phoned up and said what's happening, and then on Thursday last week they phoned up and were like, oh, we'll be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. It's like, all right, so I was unable to get annual leave. I've worked from home and not got as much done as I wanted to whilst working from home. Becca was able to get a couple of days off, but it's just been a bit of a like I say, we've spent all day Sunday getting the house organised, getting everything moved out the way for them to not turn up on Monday because it was raining. And the sales guy was like, oh, we do it in any weather. And it's like, yeah, this is Scotland. Like, why would you not do it in the rain? Like, yeah, so... But they got the majority of it done, but the doors apparently failed the quality test, so they'll be back in a couple of weeks to do the doors. But the windows are done. So,
well, that's something. I'm sure you don't want to give the company a shout out right now, or do you? It's all up to you. I think there is a lot of issue, and this shows how bad the Livi game was. We are actually talking about PVC windows right now. That there is a real problem with getting the supply for PVC and things like that. So a lot of companies are struggling out there, but welcome to Brexit UK.
Yeah, aye. Well, aye. Like I say, I don't mind like being held up by Brexit. Just a bit more communication, a bit more, heads up and stuff would have been nice. But anyway, but it's been, and like I say, I've recently changed jobs. I'm now mainly working Monday to Friday, 9 till 5 effectively. And are you, is that what you do, Stuart? Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, pretty much.
Not if I can avoid it. I'm
so
normally
what's hours you kind of do?
10 till 2, most
right.
Like just kind of Monday to Thursday. That's about it.
No, that's not bad. But I'm used to working the weekends and then, like say, going to Hibs games and stuff. But like having weekends off is really strange. I kind of get used to it. Like it's been great. I've not missed a Hibs game this season. I've been to all 3, which has been brilliant.
Well done.
But like, you have to be productive with your days off. I'm used to having like a random Tuesday off. Everyone's at work. I sit in my pajamas and I play video games all day. But like now that I'm off the same days as my mum and dad, and it's like it's Becca's mum and dad, and you've got to go and see them, and you've got to see. It's like, oh man, you've got like people. And I was on Sunday. I was power hosing my decking. Why am I being an adult all of a sudden? This is ridiculous.
And doing chores on a day off is a nightmare, especially when it's a weekend. No, you're absolutely right, mate.
So, aye. But like I say, Dave's always moaned about the state of my garden, so he'll be happy it's getting a bit better. So, aye.
He'll be bringing his bowls along to test. That'll be the quality test. They'll not be the windows. Yeah.
Other than the Livi game, how was your weekend, Stuart?
Yeah, not too bad. It was my wife's birthday, so we went out and checked out a new restaurant that's on the seafront where I am. Afro-Caribbean food, absolutely amazing. Shout out to them, called Yaya's. And I had this kind of jerk chicken on topped cheese with fries. it was good. It really was. So if you're in the Kent area, I would highly recommend that.
Very nice. I have to say, I need to. It's one of what the bad things about this being Livingston based is like you didn't get enough different restaurants. There's like a couple Italian restaurants.
That's one of the bad things about being in Livingston. Yeah, one. This if we're going to have to narrow
it was
down,
really handy for getting home on Saturday.
True.
Aye, but like I say, I went out for dinner on Saturday after the game, and I went to Wagamama's, and like it was great, but it's like it's a chain. Like there's no enough independent places. There's occasionally like an Italian place in Mid-Calder and stuff, but yeah, like that's how I had the Wagamama's. I've started to branch out a bit more. I always got the katsu curry with an extra curry sauce. That was kind of like that was basic, boring. But I've started to get what was it? I can't remember. Donburi, I think.
Okay.
That sounds right. Duck, but Donburi is what I've been getting. So, yeah, Wagamama's fan yourself?
I don't think I've ever been to one. You know,
interesting.
So yeah, I'll have to take your recommendations on that one. I'm afraid. Yeah.
Aye. That's good. So yeah, like I say, as you can tell, we're really delaying talking about the Livingston game because. But I will get my notes here and we'll kind of run through what I've got. But yeah, I want to give a credit. Like I know, so when we usually play Livy, I give a shout out to my mate Lee, who's a Livy fan. I want to give a shout out to him beforehand because when he texted me before the game, when the team lineups came out, saying this is a quote from him. Have to say, I'm surprised to see he's playing in Hanlon. Newbley will have him for dinner. Shame he can't finish. Newbley is honestly so good with the ball at his feet and running at a player, but as soon as he gets in the 18-yard box, he's useless. So Paul Hanlon started the game. We'll come back to the team lineup in a minute, and let's just. It's
a shame he started the game about 7 minutes late, but yeah.
Like I say, we'll usually do the team lineup first. We'll come back to that in a minute because it obviously got changed quite early on. But like I say, we'll talk about the goal. So I mean, Hibs are playing it about the back. I thought that especially the first half played quite a patient game. A lot of passes about. Henderson dropping deep from time to time, and then Porteous passes it out to Cabraja, who plays it into the middle to Kenny. Livy read this, see it's coming. Good press and play from Jason Holt. The ball falls to Newbley, who runs at Hanlon. And then Hanlon backs off. As soon as it gets to just outside the box, Hanlon lunges in. Newbley sees this coming. Simple touch and fades to the shoulder. Gets it into space. All the time in the world in the box. And even like, mate Lee was saying about Newbley being a poor finisher. I mean, he probably did his best to try and miss it. It came off the post when he probably should have put away a lot easier. But, so like I say, are we saying that Hanlon's lacking match fitness, or even then he's still got to be doing better, Stuart?
I think we should move it back a little bit further there. I felt a little bit sorry for the slack pass in the middle. Let's blame the Livy pitch there. That's number one. No, I've got to give credit to Holt there. He did press well on Kenny. But where that ball was picked up, we backed off. You say runs at Hanlon. I think runs is a little bit generous there. Having just rewatched the highlights of it before coming on. And yes, so much like, he showed him too little too late. You could tell there wasn't that little bit of match sharpness from Hanlon. And yeah, it looked a much better finish than it was just because it came off the inside of the post. But yeah, not a great start and kind of victims of our own undoing. Really, that goal was so preventable at several stages. And yet here we are, new season, same old defensive issues.
I want to, I think that for the Holt read it well, Holt pressed well, but I'd blame Cabraja more for the slack pass than I would Kenny.
Absolutely.
It's the same with like the Man United goal at the weekend. Like everyone,
Which one?
So the second one.
Sorry.
Everyone sort of pointing the finger at De Gea because Eriksen was just coming deep to create the space in behind. He wasn't actually coming for the ball. Never should have passed to him. But anyway, so that's similar to that. Cabraja kind of slack pass, probably the wrong pass as well. But I'm going to be critical of Kenny when he's chasing inverted commas. Like say, people watching the video will say that chasing Newbley, like he was no attempt to get close to him, to put in a challenge, to try and put him off, to try and get the other side of him, and then it was like he was like jogging back with him.
You know what it was like? It was like watching the O.J. Simpson car chase on the highway. He was just trundling along, and all the police were just kind of dangling around behind him. That's exactly what the Hibs defence did. On Saturday, and chasing the goal. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, aye. Yeah, it's really disappointing to see. Like say that space, very sort of soft goal to concede. But yeah, like I say, taking it back, we're doing this the other way than we usually do. The lineup, Hanlon did return to the lineup. Kenny and Newell played together in midfield. Henderson in the 10, Melkerson and Tavares on the right and left wings respectively, and Johan up top. And doing the preview, that's kind of the team we kind of said it should be, but that only lasted 20 minutes with Melkerson coming off. Apparently picked up a little niggle. Doidge coming on and making it a 4-4-2. But I mean, like I say, we all said that's the team we would have played, especially with Henderson in the middle. Henderson that was then sacrificed out to the wing and Tavares out to the right when Melkerson went off. But it wasn't working the first 20 minutes, was it?
Regardless, no, it really wasn't. I do like that we're trying to develop Henderson into this little bit of a playmaker role. I think that's something that we should persevere with. I'm not an advocate so far of Kenny and Newell together in the middle. One of them is going to be replaced. For me, it's Newell. He's not shown enough. I was disappointed when he got these new contracts. I've said this before. Sometimes Newell's a little bit like Hibs right now. It's a Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know which one's going to turn up. And Tavares as well. I feel sorry for him. He's raw, maybe a version on very raw. The guy's definitely got something in his locker. Was Livi the right one to kind of get him back into it where he's not kind of in normal surroundings, things like that for it? Bit difficult. But when the game plan does have to change, we didn't see much of a change for the rest of that first half, really.
Yeah. You mentioned Tavares there. I had a point about him, but we'll bring it forward. It's 3 games now, and there was a couple of nice moments against St Johnstone, but that's sort of 3 games now, and we've yet to really see anything from him. Is it too early? Is a case of he's settling in, or do you think he was given the number 10 and he was kind of seen as a sort of attacking winger that would be a starter? Like I say, Boyle's now in. Is he one that's, once Boyle's up to full fitness, is he the one rather than Melkerson that's maybe in jeopardy of losing his place in the team?
I would think so, yeah. It does bring in an interesting point. What do numbers mean for a squad nowadays? Having the classic, he's a number 10, he's a number 9 for us there, but maybe a bit of pressure on this lad's shoulders. I'd like to see him more as a bit of an impact sub. I think he's got that. Because with his speed, with his trickery, he'll be able to make lazy Scottish defenders make bad decisions later on in a game. Maybe not a starter just yet. I still think he's got something. He will come good.
Yeah, I hope he proves us wrong, but yeah, I've been concerned by the early performances. Like you say, I think raw is the right word. There's a talent there. Some of it is decision making rather than what he's actually doing with the ball at his feet, in terms of skill and things like that. You can see he's got a bit of skill, he's got a bit of pace. Seems to have a bit of confidence, a bit of swagger as well. But I've seen that confidence dwindle down a wee bit over the 3 games. It'll be an interesting one when Boyle's up to full fitness, if he's not relegated to an impact sub, and then it's up to him to kind of work his way back into the team, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens as well, because fair play to the lad, he's not really played first team football. There's a world of difference between B team to reserves to playing at the top level of the club. Obviously, he's come from a much kind of better youth system than Scottish football can offer from a bigger team. I'm not comparing Hibs to, I'm going to embarrass myself, Benfica, was it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Thank God. But yeah, there's a big jump there.
It's one of the ones with the. So like I said, I mean, I will come back to the Livi game, I promise, but I don't mind getting distracted from it, because that's where the conversation's going. But that was the risk with this transfer window, wasn't it? The way we've done our business. A lot of players, I'm not one of these players that, we must sign Scottish players that have played in the Scottish League. I'm not one of them, but we signed a lot of players that, were young and their first experience coming to Scotland. There's going to be that settling in period, and then when you've got a new manager, a new system, it's a lot of new things, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think this is probably a little bit more behind getting McGadian as well. Now, that's not come to plan as well. We've got him injured. We still do have a few guys out. And these are the older heads that would have been looking to help usher these guys along. as well. Paul Handlin, he's a great influence in the training setup and things like that. But if he's not been in the mix and playing for them, then that's something that, again, is a little bit lost.
Yeah, you can only do so much, I feel, if you're, in and around training and centre stuff. If you're doing like physio and in for a couple of hours or in different times, being like fit, and let's say if you're playing for the development team and stuff, you'll be doing some training with them. If you're fully fit in the first team, training with the first team every day, you can then have an influence on these players on the training ground and then on game day and stuff like that. So yeah,
much more.
Like what was it? 12 weeks McGeady was out for, and that's been what, 3 now? 3 weeks into that. So another sort of 9 weeks of that. Getting back to the Livi game in terms of the highlights and stuff, like say the 32nd minute, Cadden slipped, Nubly picked up the ball. Yeah. That's you up to about 10 seconds now, so be careful. Nubly picks up the ball and drives it into the box again. This time it's Porteous who jumps in for me way too easily and gets the ball taken past him. Handlin, I feel, actually does quite well and gets it across and kind of limits the options for Nubly's shot, which means he kind of has to take it on his left foot. And it's a weak shot, easily saved by Marshall, but a real warning shot that it could have been a lot worse. And in terms of the first half, Cabraja had a cross from deep. Hibs played it quite well, actually, got out wide quite quickly, and then got the ball in quickly, and that way, the defence were still getting organised. Crazy that. And then Doidge up in one, but the header wasn't trampling the goalkeeper, unfortunately. But a really poor first half of football, wasn't it?
Definitely one to forget, yeah. Rewatching the highlights, I was trying to think what on earth happened in that game, and I can understand why I'd forgotten it. Cadden, I don't know, he's kind of been guilty sometimes of thinking about the next thing before the first thing's been completed, and that's what happened. The ball got caught under his foot. He's made to look a little bit foolish. Should have been punished there. Yeah, I'll agree with you. Porteous, a little bit headstrong. Who knew we needed the calming influence of Rocky at the back? Hope he's back for the Rangers game. And Hanlon doing well. I think you're not giving enough credit to Marshall for the save.
Really?
He was able to get it.
I thought it was an easy save.
It was looking like it was going underneath him. For me, I had to adjust a little bit as well, and kind of able to pounce on it, get it, and yeah, as you said, 2-0 down at half time. Say what you want about Martindale teams, they are very organised. They do know their job, and they do stick to it. 2-0 would have been kind of good night Vienna.
Yeah, aye. So like I say, the second half made a change. Martin Boyle came on. We spoke about Tavares so far. And Hibs were level through Kenny. It was a free kick, which seemed to just ping-pong about the box. It was headed back across goal, and then keeper really helps Hibs out, comes out, completely spills it, left on the floor as Kenny directs it towards goal and hits off the post and goes in. A really sort of scrappy goal, but we'll take it. It reminded me against Falkirk, we had a chance where it hit off both posts and stuff like that, and it was bobbling about the box and didn't go in. I was worried it was going to be like that, but thankfully it did go in and 1-1.
Yeah, there's a nasty to say I don't know how much Kenny knew about it.
Yeah, aye, really scrappy.
But I think we're going to have to be kind to him there. He's 19, like we said earlier. He's moved cities, moved to a different style of football. Leeds played him all over the shop as well. So now we're trying to cement him in a position that we think we can get the most benefit from him. But no, great to kind of get him starting his accounts there. And nice and early in the half as well, looking a bit more positive. A bad 45 with one shot on target, almost kind of a race where we're starting to actually see a lot more from Hibs at the start of the second half. Brilliant.
So this is my next point. Like I say, just before the goal and then after the goal as well, there was probably like a 15 to 20 minute spell where Hibs were probably on top. My dad said he thought Hibs played well in this spell, and I'll be honest, I disagreed with him. I thought, yeah, we were on top, but Livi were 1-0 up, and then even when it's 1-1, they're very tactical when they'll hit for a second. They'll kind of leave it late on, which they did, like they did. They were quite comfortable at 1-1 as well. It wouldn't have been a bad result for them. We were passing it about, trying to break Livi down. We've got the odd cross in. We've got quite a few corners, but I mean, like I said, I googled this before we came on. I got a quick statistic. There was a study done from like one of the World Cups, Euros, UEFA Cup, and it was like if there's 10.24 corners were taken per match. 26 of them resulted in a shot, 9.8 resulted in a shot on target, and 2.2 resulted in a goal. So if you're trying to rely on corners for goals, you're really limiting your chances. I just felt that was our only and like I say, when they've got Nubly and they've got Obalai, two big guys, it's hard to try and score free kicks, corners and free kicks against them.
Yeah. No, I will actually agree with your dad. I thought we played much better in the second half. There was a lot more to take away from it. I'm allowed to start moving my moans about the pitch to the referee. Yeah. I thought
you can do.
I thought the referee was absolutely shocking. There was a couple of decisions we certainly should have got in that second half, which would have put us kind of far beyond kind of their reach, I think. And even their goal was a result of a nothing free kick, if anything. I think we should have probably had the free kick. But I'd say
the referee was a bit inconsistent. There was some that was like he was letting go, and then there's others where he's given free kicks for absolutely nothing. It's just, but I think I went both ways a wee bit, if I'm honest.
We had that run of corners that were taken, and one was retaken because Hanlon was kind of rugby tackled, wrestled to the ground. Now the referee clearly seen it, so we get to take the free kick again. So didn't they think that was the rules? And then there was a little bit of debate on our kind of group chat about kind of the Martin Boyle one, and I think it was it Omiyonga as well? Kind of stuck a bit of a lazy leg up and kind of just upended Boyle in the box as he was going to the byline.
That was up the other end for me, so I don't know.
Fair enough.
I was in the bottom corner, the other end, and like that was in the highlights, so I wasn't watching the full game back. Sorry.
No, do not blame you there. But again,
I didn't see enough of that one, and then
it's one of these classics. It's probably not a penalty if you've still got the eyes of the late 90s, early 90s, but nowadays it's a penalty. So again, inconsistency from Scottish refs. This is going to come back to shoot me, but I can guarantee I'm looking forward to VAR.
See, I'll briefly touch on it. I'm not, because the amount of times you'll score a goal and you went, like, say that Martin Boyle goal last week against Hearts, we went mental. I wouldn't go mental because I'd be like, well, let's wait until VAR's finished, and then then it takes away for that moment. That's my worry about it. But anyway, we'll know. Talk about.
Are you suggesting Scottish football's not going to be the saving grace of VAR, that we're not going to do it absolutely perfectly, Gav? How dare you?
We'll see. In Doncaster, we trust. Well, I mean, Livy did get their winner, but before that, Bruce Anderson probably should have made it 2-1. A brilliant save from Marshall. However, in 86th minute, it was Obalai headed home. It was a free kick. You said didn't feel it was a free kick, but they got it and they whipped it in the box. Big centre back given way too much space. You watch it back, Doidge is assigned marking him. And I don't think it's hyperbole. I'm struggling for me to say Doidge has kind of cost us 3 points there by not marking his man.
Nope, I'll agree. He's given far too much space. Some saying that Marshall maybe could have done better, but big, powerful header, that close in, that much space. I'm not going to be blaming my keeper there. Defence, again, all at sea, not being man-marked. You should have seen that. It was a huge target, man. Good ball in, but not dealt with by us. So, again, all our own undoing. That's
Yeah, aye. It's one, like, I know we had that good 15-minute, 20-minute spell, even if we were on top, we can disagree and agree on whether how Hibs played then. I was alright with the fact we didn't play great, because I'm like, it's Livy away, it's, as long as we're creating chances, and even if it is a bit scrappy, that's fine. But, having a good 20-minute spell away at Livy isn't good enough. We should be, that should be a team we're beaten. They've got a lot lower budget. They've got a good team, a steady team. We've got a new team that's there, probably a lot further on than us. But yeah, we probably should be getting 3 points there every time. One of those players, I have to say, like, why do Hibs fans boo Omiyonga? And this isn't just Omiyonga. A lot of ex-Hibs players. It's something I don't understand, because like Omiyonga was at Hibs, second spell didn't go as well. I know he got COVID and stuff, but regardless of that, Hibs weren't in for him, so he went to Livy. And now he gets booed because Hibs weren't interested in him. It's the same with, like, other players that play for St John's and stuff that Hibs have went, we don't want to give you a new contract. Like, why boo them? I don't understand.
No, I totally agree with you. Don't understand that whatsoever. It's something that's kind of snuck in with some elements of the Hibs fans recently. Not a fan of it. Omiyonga was a brilliant servant to us. Not necessarily on the pitch, but he kind of got the club. He understood the idea of the community and things like that. It was always really good to the fans. So yeah, I would probably welcome him back. Let's be fair.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, he's not something I think we should go for, but he's better than what we've got at the moment. Like, you know, you were saying, but like I say, I think Newell has got a part to play in the squad, but like I say, I don't think the balance is working at the moment. To me, Omiyonga and Kenny is a more balanced midfield because Omiyonga would get us further up the field and be able to give us a bit more drive. But I'm not saying he's the one we should go for, but I'm just saying I think he would be better than what we've got currently. But yeah, really disappointing performance at Ammanville, and not the best start to the season. Like I say, I mean, a win with a last minute winner, a draw with a last minute equaliser, and then a defeat to Livi. It's kind of not been blown away yet so far.
No, and let's be fair, I know we're going to go on to talk about this, but we're going into the fourth game of the season. Rangers at home. It is entirely possible we could be sat here 4 games in, 4 points.
Yeah.
That's not really what we want to be doing. Let's be fair. And okay, you can argue, yeah, Hearts is always going to be a tough game. Rangers is always going to be a tough game. That's 2 bad ones. But we have most certainly dropped points to Livingston. Disrespectful or not, sorry to your pal Lee. I don't care if he can call games with his Mystic Meg style powers.
I'll have to ask him what the lottery tickets numbers are going to be this weekend.
Should do, yeah. That's an idea. That'd make us feel a lot better. But, God, we shouldn't be losing to them in the manner which we did. We're all allowed a bad day at the office, but we gifted them 2 goals.
Yeah. Concerning the performance and the defensive with the goals as well. Like I say, to me, that Bruce Anderson one as well, like he should have scored. Way too much space at the back post, and brilliant save from Marshall. And that, Marshall had a double save against Hearts. I'm sure he had a really good save against St Johnstone as well. And don't get me wrong, I know your goalkeeper's there to save shots, but you shouldn't be exposing them as easily as we have done. Been broken through a wee bit. So, like I say, we'll move on from the Livi game. The next thing we're going to talk about is talking about the squad. Obviously, transfer window's open for another 13 days, I can't remember exactly. It's recording on the 17th. So we've got a quote here from Lee Johnson talking about potential departures. So we'll start with that. It's definitely an option for us. I want to add quality, not quantity, but I think there's 2 or 3, maybe even 3 or 4 who would be better served playing football somewhere else on loan or permanently.
Oh. So, damning.
Who do you think could be heading out Easter Road before whatever the deadline day is, which I should have looked up?
Yeah, there's probably a few there. Obviously, I think a straightforward one is Christian Doidge. He, I think, will be on his way. Whether he's just got a very settled in life in Edinburgh, I don't know. He's not quite been the same since. Obviously, he's had his injuries, had COVID. Not making excuses for the guy, but we could probably see him on the move out. Be interesting
on him quickly. I think the Clyde game seemed to be a bit of a false start, wasn't it? Like we thought, oh right, okay, we've got Doig back. He's going to score goals. He's going to be, competition for Johan, and gives us a little more breathing space for Nisbet coming back. But it's not really sort of materialised any further than that, unfortunately.
No, I don't think so. I'm very keen to hear that we're obviously replacing with quality, not quantity. I'll be interested to see from a defence side of things whether it's going to be McClelland or Miller that kind of get shifted out, not permanently, but just kind of go out on loan, get a bit more first team football, get up to pace with kind of first team Scottish game. That'll be a side of things. Midfield, I don't know who I would kind of let go, move out. Tate's an obvious one. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the Norwich game, but from what I heard, he was okay. And again, it's a friendly, but I heard he was excellent during that. So I'd be more tempted to kind of get him in and give him a bit of a chance from what other supporters have said.
Yeah, it's one that I think he is that kind of midfielder we're kind of asking for, but whether he's ready to kind of have the quality to start is another thing. I'd like to see him at least thrown in and given a chance, but if not, then yeah, he's one that would. He's one of those ones, like, I think, when you've got like Josh O'Connor and stuff, young laddies, they're probably better, being in and around the squad. But once you get to that 19, 20, 21, if you're not playing week in, week out, it's really going to stunt your development. So I think they need to be getting out on loan, like Tate, upper championship. Miller's a good shot, I haven't even considered that. He's maybe not came in and been the starter would kind of hoped for. I mean, I know he was given the number 2 jersey. Maybe it just takes a bit of time to settle in.
You're getting hooked up on numbers again, Gav. Honestly.
I am.
It's like doing a podcast with a Rain Man.
Yeah. But maybe a loan to somebody sort of challenging at the top of the championship would be a good move for him, somebody like Inverness or something like that.
Yeah.
But
please don't. We're not writing these players off. We're just saying who could benefit and where can we all benefit. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I say, I mean, in terms of like positions and stuff, I'd like to see. I'd like to see Miller kept around in competition for Cadden at right back. Left back, I know we've got Capraja. You've also got Louis, who's couldn't come back from injury, and then you've also got Mitchell, who can play there if need be. So I think we're all right at left back because of that. And then as centre back, like you say, especially if McClelland or I doubt Rocky, but like I said, I know there was talk when Rocky signed that they'd maybe look to put him out on loan immediately. He's now played a few games, and like I say, probably would have started at the weekend. I don't think that's likely, but if McClelland's going out on loan, maybe Hanlon. Like, if Hanlon's going to be down the pecking order, if we're going to bring in another defender and then he's got Rocky and arguably McClelland ahead of him, maybe Hanlon goes out on loan or leaves permanently. I'd be glad to see it, but I think,
that would be the heart rule in the head on that one, though.
Yeah, it's maybe like say if there's a long-term vision for him being involved in the club, maybe a loan would be a good idea for him then to come back after a loan playing someone else in a sort of final couple of years. So I don't know, maybe an option. But yeah, we definitely need to bring in a centre back though, don't we?
Yep, and that's why our illustrious leader and owner was leaving on a jet plane today. There you go. Yeah, nice modern musical reference. Yeah.
Keeping the musical references going, is it true that it's believed that he's going to Ibiza?
I like that. So that was the Venga Boys. We did used to have the Venga bus as well, didn't we, at Easter Road?
We did, aye. The players coming through from Glasgow.
There does seem to be a little bit of mixed reports on here that he was either going to Switzerland to kind of, and again, God love online rumours. We'll almost be bored on a Wednesday, not working very hard from home, to check out a new defender, or he was off to Ibiza. I've got to say, I don't have any money, so I've got no idea if he was going to Switzerland, and I don't like dance music, so I've no idea if he was going to Ibiza. We do, however, know that unfortunately he was sharing a plane with a lot of our neighbours. Yes. As they were flying out. Now, thankfully, we do have reports, and it has been confirmed that it was able to sleep on the plane because they had a shout of boring bastards when they songs. So
other songs died in 2016.
I believe so, yeah. So I'm glad you had a nice restful flight, Ron. There you go, myself, mate.
Yeah. Like I say, looking at the rest of the team, the midfield, but I think, like you said earlier, we definitely need somebody in that midfield. If it's not going to be somebody that's already in the squad like Tate, which I think they would have been involved if it was going to be somebody. I think we need something else in that midfield. Wingers, I think we're all right.
I think we're okay.
Boyle,
yeah.
Aye, Boyle. Hopefully Tavares, McGee's shown. McGeady will come back from injury. And aye. Aye, McGuinness can play there, can play behind the striker. Henderson can play it wide. Johan has went out to the left briefly because against Livingston we did change it back to the 4-2-3-1 in the second half. He went out to the left, Doidge up top. So aye, there's options there I think out wide. But yeah, like I say, I think Henderson, if McGuinness is, depending on his injury status, I don't think we can rely on him. I think Henderson needs a bit of competition, and we need somebody to do the box-to-box role pretty much. We'll say the same thing every week, but yeah.
I'd like to see a little bit more faith in Jake Doyle-Hayes as well.
See, I think he's competition for Kenny. I know people have said about playing the two of them together. I think you play the two of them together against Celtic and Rangers, but I don't think you play them against Livingston away or home or St Johnstone or St Mirren. I think you need somebody a bit more expressive playing beside them.
I just clearly hate Newell. Anybody. Gav, I'll give you a game over Newell right now. There you go.
Well, coming back to the numbers, they've got 6 and 8, so surely that means.
Well, it's not your height.
Nah, change that to 5, and then a 7.
Your tippy toes, huh?
So we will finish up talking about the Rangers game. Just before I do, like I say, with everything sort of going on around the house, and like I say, apologies again for the delay in the podcast as a result. Have I missed anything else Hibs related, Stuart? Is there anything that's been in the news? Like I was tempted to Google Hibernian, and I've not been on Twitter, so I was tempted to Google Hibernian and go to Google and see the news bit, see if I've missed anything. Is there any news stories I've missed?
I don't think we have missed anything. We got a bit of an injury update from the club today, and just kind of telling us where we are at with a few of the guys. Tell you, better communication from the club is always brilliant, always welcomed as well. And it does give us a start of an idea with the remaining days of the transfer window, who we could maybe be looking for positions-wise as well. But no, I want to say, and I do sound like a happy clapper, I think the club is in a better place. We are moving forward. It is going to be a slow process, but I seem to keep saying this. This is a building season for me. Yeah. I'm happy to accept that. We're bringing in young guys. They're getting used to the game, things like that. Show me something. And there have definitely been glimpses of it so far. As long as we don't rocket off the same cliff that we did under Maloney, I'm going to be happy with that. But I'm going to be starting kind of to judge where we are much kind of further down the line, probably kind of January, February time so far. Yeah, League Cup was a bit of a disaster, but let's kind of stay a little bit positive here. And so far, the crowds haven't let us down. The fans have been absolutely brilliant at the games. Even kind of me being there as an observer from afar, watching the derby in my local pub, there was kind of people there saying, wow, the atmosphere there is brilliant, what a lot of noise, and guaranteed that wasn't coming from the away end. So the supporters are starting to buy into this, which is good. Few more results will definitely help that, and I think they're coming.
Yeah, even like the crowds.
Sorry, none of that was Hibs news. I don't know what the hell my rant was about.
It was fine. It was good. It was good opinions. I was happy to hear it. I think the St Johnstone game as well. The crowd was really good as well. So credit to them. For that. And like say Livingston, they did get a bit quieter a bit sooner, but you can understand it. And even then, there was times where they're still they were up the other end, but the singing section and bouncing and stuff, like even it was 1-0 Livy and stuff. So yeah, it was good to see.
It was great to see Block 7 before the derby. They had one of those kind of Italian style ultras megaphones right at the front. It looked brilliant.
Although I would say it looked good, but I was like right along, and I'm like, he sounds no louder. That doesn't seem to be doing anything. So I don't know. It didn't sound any louder to me. But it looked cool. I'll give you that. It did look cool. But yeah, so we were talking about the news. Yeah, there was like something about Hibs being linked with a midfielder, and I never clicked on the headline. Apology, I'm so underprepared. That was like a week ago or something. Is that still the case? Where we're favourites for somebody, or?
I believe scrambling desperately to try and remember the name. I think Portsmouth were interested in him as well.
Right.
This midfielder. If you'd like to sing for us, Gav. Luke McCormick.
I will give my thoughts. I'll agree with, you got there.
Luke McCormick, sorry.
Right.
Still kind of suggesting that they are looking at him. He'd scored a number of goals. I think it was for Forest Green last season. And also a good number of assists. So it seems to be something that we might be missing in our midfield. Hibs don't traditionally like to do our business in the media. We've maybe learned that lesson from past ones for ourselves there. And there's always going to be agents and local medias from wherever troublemaking. Might be able to get this one over the line. Lee Johnson being very professional, not being overly drawn on it. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it's encouraging to see an area that us kind of fans, who have obviously got extremely valid opinions, better than the manager most of the time, we've been able to see something, and the manager's also seeing it. That might sound really simple, really basic block stuff, but how many times have we had it in the past? somebody's not been able to identify something that we're needing across multiple windows, and we've still got a problem there. So, yeah, again, I think I'm going to be a happy clapper. I'm going to get slagged for that, but
no,
yeah,
like I said,
I'm used to it.
encouraging. Hopefully, it is actually there's some truth to it, and it's not just like you say the agent going, "Oh, who's a club that would potentially be interested?" So then the teams that are actually interested can drum up a bit of interest and say, "Oh, you've also got this team bidding on them," when they're not. That's what agents do. But
it's their job.
A midfielder that scores
just leave
goals,
heads out of it.
Yeah, a midfielder who scores goals and gets assists, is definitely something we need. Especially if he can play in a midfield too, that seems to be the setup, then that'd be great if he can still get goals from there as well. But like I say, it's unlikely he'll be in place for Saturday. I was convinced it was Sunday with the Rangers playing in Europe, but no, it is Saturday, 12:30 kickoff, another early kickoff. I've got this, what's it called? The Albion bar, and it's, only opens at 11, so at least it's 12:30 rather than 12, which is a wee bit better. But still,
you get to go in afterwards and celebrate, though, don't you? So
yeah, celebrate a 1-1 draw, which went down brilliantly on Twitter. I've seen that. But anyway, the Rangers. I mean, like I say, they played last night. They drew 2-2 at home at PSV Eindhoven. Did you see any of the game at all?
I saw a couple of the goals just on highlight videos. What an absolute donkey. I'll tell you, a terrible free kick equalled by an even worse gathering or lack of gathering from their keeper. But Rangers head over to Holland. Obviously, no such thing as away goals nowadays, which I think is a bit daft, but I'll just have to get used to that. Going to be a difficult task for them. Hopefully, they've got a lot of goals and energy out of their system after Kilmarnock at the weekend. And then, we've got them. I don't know, will they be resting a few players? Will they bring in a few more? Porteous and Morelos get to renew their little kind of love affair tete-a-tete, which is good. We all know which the referee's going to side on for that before we can even start. Might as well just book Porteous in the dressing room beforehand.
Yep. Saves time.
And yeah, exactly. Saves us all time. Just kind of announce that he's already on a yellow.
In terms of recent games against Rangers, it's not been going well recently. 7 wins in a row it is for Rangers.
Fuck. That's terrible.
Going back, the 20th of September 2020, we got a 2-2 draw. Dre Wright and Doidge scoring that day.
Oh God, one of our goals was miles offside as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
And then you have to go back until, as I say, somebody correct me if this is wrong, but like I say, going on off this app here, going back to the 3rd of September 2018, the last time we beat Rangers, McGinn and McLaren with the goals.
We'll obviously kind of say in the league because we absolutely horsed them in the League Cup semi-final. And we've got Boyle back. Yes. So there you go.
This is on
Boyle,
the league, yeah.
Boyle hat-trick. Perfect. Sorted.
Yes. Like I say, in the league, we did manage the 3-1 win with Boyle playing. 45 minutes against Livingston. So we'll start with him. We'll come to the Rangers a bit more, but like 45 minutes against Livingston, 30 minutes against Hearts, 2 weeks of training under his belt. Is there any chance Martin Boyle's closer to now starting the game, or do you think it's still off the bench?
I don't think he'll be starting. I think it's off the bench. No point in rushing him in for these types of games. Yes, of course we want him. He's going to have to be high impact a little bit longer, and that's sensible for me. He'll still be able to come on and produce. There's no doubt of that. I will say for Martin Boyle coming back on, especially for the Hearts game, he looked as though he'd looked after himself. He might not have had a pre-season, but kind of impressed with the guy's professionalism there, especially when there would have been a lot of stuff up in the air. Whether am I going back to Saudi? Is there somebody else interested? There were offers from England, from we know this. So he did look after himself. And once again, Martin, delighted to have you home.
Yeah, I think it's always a coincidence that Hibs were a bit better the second half when he came on. Is that worry that, one-man team thing, but I hope he's closer to starting. I think I would just chuck him in if I'm honest, but at the same time, him coming off the bench, if we can stay in the game until then, or be winning the game and bringing him on would be brilliant. Yeah, just sort of briefly on Rangers, in terms of their business they've done. They brought in Nat Lawrence from Derby, who scored a couple of goals now, scored last night, I believe. And Kolak, the striker, given number 9 jersey. Sorry to bring out numbers again. But he's got 4 goals in 6 games so far, looking like a good bit of business. And they brought in, obviously, with the boy at the back going to Ajax. They brought in Ben Davies from Liverpool. When I seen Ben Davies, I was like, "Oh, the boy for Tottenham." Then, "Oh, for Liverpool." So that young laddie came in, and they've been starting games. Like he's starting ahead of Morelos, interestingly enough. And they brought in a winger as well, Rabbi Madondu, 21-year-old, a couple of assists against St Johnstone. So it sounds like, I hate to give him credit, but it looks like it's been good business in the transfer window. Their side's looking quite balanced, kind of kicking on from last season. McLaughlin's been playing a lot of games, interestingly enough, in goals, but isn't he the worst goalkeeper in the world? And like I say, this so far in the league this season, they've beaten Livingston, Kilmarnock and St Johnstone, and then in Europe they lost the first leg 2-0 and then won the second leg 3-0. So I mean, looking at the last 3 games, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 2-2 with PSV Eindhoven, it's no exactly confidence booster ahead of Hibs, who have scrapped a last minute win against St Johnstone, scrapped a last minute draw against Hearts and been beaten by Livingston.
No. When you put it in black and white like that, thank you, Gav. Always a pleasure speaking to you.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Next week, how to degrout your fridge. Aye. So, you know what? We always raise our game against Rangers. It might not go completely to game plan, but the lads are a bit more up for it as well. We are still getting to a bit more settling. They're still settling themselves as well.
Are you sure? 2-0, 3-0, 4-0? That sounds pretty settled to me.
I still think they're settling. They was it 2-1 against Livi? I did watch a bit of that game because Livi were 1-0 up relatively early on, and then they scored 2 goals very, very quickly. They didn't. Now again, plastic pitch. I don't let them use that excuse. But it is a lot tougher, things like that. For it. Hopefully, they're maybe just a little bit tired. They've got one eye on the next European leg.
Because it's Tuesday again. They play PSV Eindhoven in the next return leg. I thought it was a couple of weeks, but then it's like, oh my god, it's the end of August already. It's kind of flown in. But yeah, so the return leg is on Tuesday. Hopefully they've got one eye on that. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to be optimistic without any great reason for it.
Okay, what are you going for?
I'm going to go for 2-1 Hibs. Go on. There you go. I'm going to say it. 2-1 to the High Bees. We're going to have an excellent day. We're going to absolutely bounce and kick on our season from there.
Nice. Like it. Really like the positivity. Do you want my heart or my head answer?
I'll take both. Go on. Okay. Since there's only the two of us.
So my head...
If you're listening, Stu, Stephen and Dave, hope you've enjoyed your evening.
My head says 3-0 Rangers. My heart says 2-0 Rangers.
I really hope they don't win because I'm again going to my local to watch this game. So apologies to anyone who's attending the Goose Bar in Ramsgate because there's apparently this really loud Scottish guy who screams for this team that play in green that isn't Celtic, and he just likes to ruin a lot of afternoon dinners, which is good. And unfortunately, I do have a friend down here. It's more care in the community. He is one of them, and he's threatening to come down and watch it, and I'm really don't want to see him doing that kind of sly little smirky type thing. He's literally Billy Big Balls when he's on the group chat, but in person, honestly, just one of these guys. But so basically what we're describing is a Hun. So that's what we're looking into for that. And that's going to be my Saturday. So all the best to the Hibbies, and yeah, we're going to win it. 2-1. There you go, I'm saying it.
I hope you're right. So we got much. So like I say, we'll wrap up there. You got much planned for the rest of the evening?
Not a great deal, actually. Got a little bit of a batch meal all made up. Campfire stew, slow cooker, big kind of gammon joint. Very nice. Looking forward to that. What about yourself, mate? You doing anything good?
No, pretty quiet one. Becca's away to see a drag show in the Fringe. Aye, she's away with her mate with that, so she's just a quiet one in the house myself. Nice to have obviously with the cat, but nice quiet night to myself, mate, going play a couple of video games online with some guys. But aye, no major plans. Pretty chilled out.
And enjoy your new windows. Awesome.
Yeah, just stare at them. That look the exact same as the ones that were in before, just a bit cleaner and a bit newer. You can actually see through them.
You can actually just get them washed. You didn't get them replaced.
Nah, the panes were gone in the middle. So
fair enough.
And then the doors were like, I'm not part of diesel, but they were cold. The air was getting in with the winter coming up, and the energy bills going up. It was probably a sensible purchase, but no holidays for Gavin this year, which is sad.
Oh, that's wrong.
I want to go to like America and go to like wrestling shows, but flights to America are so expensive.
Oh yeah, mate.
Like they've gone up a lot. Like they were always bad, but like they were like £400-500, but they've gone up to like 1,600. And I'm like, no, I can't go. Like, aye, crazy gone up. But
you can save your money for Hibs getting to Europe next season.
Yes, I'll do that instead.
Hibs Talk on tour.
Yes, aye. I mean, it's not coming through the League Cup. I don't think it's coming through the league, so we're winning the Scottish Cup.
You heard it here first, folks. Yeah.
Fantastic. Delighted.
We brought the news on Boyle coming back, so
we did. There
you go.
We did. We didn't. In case anybody thinks we're being serious, we didn't. We had no idea. We just reacted to the rumours. But yeah. So yeah, like I say, I hope you guys have a lovely evening, whatever you're up to. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Fingers crossed, like I say, but all back to normal, back to the Monday. Apologies for, like I say, just construction around the house leading to delaying the podcast. But we'll be back Monday to look back at the Rangers game and look ahead to... I'm looking at Stuart here to tell me who it is while I look at my phone to see who it is that we've got after.
Our next opponent, also a grudge game. Yeah, it'll be probably away from home. We do kind of tend to travel well there. St Mirren. That's fine.
St Mirren away. So a trip to Paisley.
Go see the buddies. So, that's nice.
Yeah. And then I have to realise the week after that is Kilmarnock at home, and I'll miss that. I am going to Cardiff to actually see the wrestling in Cardiff. So
amazing.
Aye.
What show's that?
So Clash at the Castle. No, I'm a big fan of the name, but aye. And there's a couple other events which are going on round about the weekend, so heading down for a kind of long weekend down there.
Amazing.
So I'll need to say to Dave and Stephen to kind of give my tickets someday. But yeah, aye. I'm looking forward to that. I need to get... just like with a new job though, it's like I have to hand over my responsibilities and like I have to get everything done beforehand, so I'm a bit like, I know that's creeping up and I need to get ahead of everything so that I can then go in and you leave. It's kind of... I'm not used to this.
I like how you
just like, I'm off, see you later on.
Yeah, I like how you just abandoned stuff in the past, and considering I know what you do, that was a bit worrying.
Someone else done the shift, it was fine. But now I need to make sure there's people who do all the shifts. But yeah, anyway. But joys the management. But yes, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Stuart.
Thanks for having me, Gav. Always good to do a remote one with you.
Yeah, thank you for listening. If any news breaks, myself and Stuart will be there to react to it on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe there. Other than that, you can find us at HFC Talk on all the socials. We'll be back next week. Thanks again for listening. Cheers.
Cheers.